Alright folks, today what we're going to do is make kale chips because I make them tasty, and you can too. It's not difficult. The first thing I'm going to do is cut the kale. You can use a straight knife if you want. You can use your fingers if you want. I use this type of kale. I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Lucanado? See,
what?
I don't know how to pronounce this kale. Let's look it up. Okay, I had to just look it up how to pronounce this. La Chianato. I'm messing it up, I'm sure, but that's pretty close. La Chianato. It's an Italian pronunciation. First thing to do is to cut the kale. Again, you can use scissors, you can use your fingers and pull it apart, which is kind of fun. I like to do it. But it's quicker to use a pizza cutter. I cut more kale than I can begin to tell you, until one day I thought, pizza cutter, that would make it a lot easier. Keep the slices, put them together. I'm going to clean them when I'm done cutting them. Now I'm going to show you me cutting them instead of just my face. Ta-da! Some folks keep this, juice it, grind it up. Some people just eat it straight.
That's disgusting. Somebody will eat that straight?
Absolutely. Kind of hold it down, it curls up a little bit. I always try to get the bigger leaves. The price is the same on the little leaves and the bigger leaves, so I always try to get the bigger ones because it's easier to cut. And kale kind of shrinks up when you put it in the oven or the dehydrator. This one's being a little cantankerous. No kale left behind is the goal. This is where we pause for a station break. And we'll be back. Mom tip. Depending on the age of your child and their skill level.
What's a mom tip?
It's a tip to help a mother survive and keep her sanity. And not just that, but thrive. Yay. Your children can cut the kale. My youngest is really good at pulling it off. The stalk or whatever this thing is called in the middle. She can also cut. So is my oldest. Currently they're doing their homeschool stuff. One of them is, the other one's done. I'm doing the video, so for the purpose of the video, I guess, because they're doing their other stuff. I cut the kale. The pizza cutter just sticks right to the edge. I'm going to cut this kale. Take another station break to help the child focus on something else. Education. Okay, mamas and papas, let me get my eyes in here a little bit. I'm trying to get the bowl. I'm working, this is day 2 on kale chips. Life. So yesterday I got the kale chips cut and cleaned. I spray them with the produce cleaner. Some people just rinse them with water, and I dried them really well. I ran out of time to do them yesterday, so I put them in the baggie in the refrigerator with a little paper towel, which kind of keeps them a little fresher. And this is my produce cleaner. Use what you got. Okay, today what I'm going to do is finish the kale chips. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out the secret to doing all things, or even half of them, in a way that makes a whole lot of sense. So anyway, it's time. Olive oil. I just put enough olive oil in to soak them all. Some people do a little less. Everybody likes what they like. And then I use the tongs, and I cut the kale too. They were long strips, and I cut them into 2s. Sometimes I cut them into 3s, depending on how big they are. I just keep flipping them and flipping them until they seem to be coated. These are not all coated. You can see the difference. Some of that's wet, some of that's dry. If it's dry, it's not going to pick up the spices. So you want it to be completely covered. I'm going to put some of these in a dehydrator. I'm going to put some of them in the oven. Some of you don't have a dehydrator. You don't need to go buy one. You can. They are fun. You can do all kinds of great things with them. But if you want kale chips and you don't have a dehydrator, as long as you have an oven, you're good to go. Such a beautiful color, and the olive oil brings it out. Slick, makes it slick. I suppose if you put too much olive oil in, you could soak it off. I just hate to waste any of it. So I just put it on, flip, 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 before I add more, just to make sure. Real gentle with the kale. I've made a few kale chips along the way, so you learn, but you can feel it. You feel if you're too rough, it starts to crunch up. I think the secret to greens, all greens, leafy greens, is apple cider vinegar. There are different brands. You get this one at Costco. Bragg's is nice. Get that from Mom's in the Common Market. So while I'm pretty sure I've got it covered, and before I add any more olive oil, I'm going to add the apple cider vinegar. I think this gives it just the nicest kick, flavor. Think about sea salt and vinegar chips. This apple cider vinegar just loves greens. I don't know what it does. Scientifically, it does something magic that I don't know about, but my taste buds do. All right, I have it pretty well coated. This is the part where you get to get creative. You can use any spices that you want. I'll show you what I use, and then you go to town and do what you want. I get the liquids on there first, so I make sure it's coated. It's all wet. There's not a bunch of oil at the bottom of the bowl. It's, not an excessive amount. You can see a little bit of oil and vinegar at the bottom, but I can keep mixing it up and it'll soak in there. Onion. I kind of use onion and garlic on almost everything. I'm not going to apologize for it. I love it. But I'm doing onion, garlic. I don't know if this is granules or powder. I can't tell. I don't care. It's garlic. It makes me happy. Costco's also sells an organic no salt seasoning that I like, and I use for a lot of things. I like seasoning, like flavor. The kids like the kale chips a lot, so I'm not changing that recipe. I also like Currylicious. I use nutritional yeast flakes. It gives it a slightly cheesy flavor, but without the dairy. And there's all kinds of vitamins in here. B vitamins. Just super for you. Super for you. I'm not shy on the nutritional yeast either, but I kind of coat everything once. And the salt whatever kind of salt you want other than table salt, any kind of Himalayan sea salt or Celtic sea salt, whatever. Using some real salt. And now that I have it coated, I'm going to flip them. Okay, I'm doing another layer. Encourage you to season to taste. It's hard for me to have too much garlic, or onion for that matter. All right, folks, this stuff is pretty coated. I'm going to show it to you. Scrape the sides a little bit. I really like to have seasoning on my kale chips, as you can probably tell. So, next step. Again, I'm going to load the dehydrator, but for anybody who doesn't have a dehydrator, I'm going to just put some kale chips. I put parchment paper down. I'm always trying to do things as healthy as I can. I can't believe that this metal is really a healthy thing to cook on. It's metal. So whatever. I put the parchments, organic parchment paper down. It makes it easier to clean the cookie sheet, and I'm decreasing the nasty load, the metal exposure. And I'm just plopping these bad boys on here next to each other. They're gonna shrink. They're gonna shrink. Anyway, I get the kale on the cookie sheet and I slide it in the oven. I would suggest putting your oven down as low as it'll go. When I dehydrate them, I'm cooking them between 95 and 115, depending on how quick I want to do it. Basically, how much time I have, how healthy I want to be, because the lower the temperature, the more enzymes you retain. But if you're cooking it in the oven, just turn your oven down as low as you can, like even if you get to 190 or whatever, and you put it in there, 20 minutes approximately. Keep an eye on it. You'll see it dry out, open it up. If it's still soft or wet, it's not ready. I'll bring you back once I've put these in the oven. But don't they look beautiful? Or maybe not, but they are tasty. And surprisingly enough, my kids aren't jumping around eating them. Right now they like to have me just chop up this kale and put it in a bowl. We call it kale salad. And then they eat it. Because it's that good. I don't think it's just the spices. I think it's the spices, the oil, and nutritional yeast, but the apple cider vinegar is what makes it, in my opinion. All right, lovely people. I'm going to go put this in the oven. I'll get back at you. Okay, I got stuff out of the oven, and I overdid it. It's a little, let's see if we get the light on here. You can see it's a little too brown. Still tastes all right, but a little crunchy. So this is, I have my oven too high. I was trying to be slick. But they're still tasty. These are the bowls. My kids, like I said, like the stuff raw. Just chopped it up in bowls. Delicious. You can have pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds. And this is the dehydrator doing its business. I have 2 trays of that. So, bottom line is, kale chips rock. You can make them. It's not hard. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And I hope you are having a great day. Kale on, carry on.